Hi guys, welcome back to Vedic Astrology. We are today continuing with a series of lords of houses in all houses, and we are going to touch upon 8th lord in different houses in this video today. Now I'm pretty sure you would have heard the definition of 8th house and 8th lord, where we say it is a representation of suddenness, it is a representation of transformation, joint assets, your in-laws, the changes that you incur. It is seen as a house that represents longevity of our life. But all these definitions typically are seen in a negative connotation. 6th, 8th, and 12th are not seen in one of the most positive lights. But in this video, guys, we are going to see the impact of 8th house in our lives in a very different way. And the start to that difference, that differentiation of our thinking is going to come when I ask you to see 8th house and 8th lord as a portal. It is an opening, or rather an exit, where you move from one sphere of life, one horizon, to a completely different universe. I would want some of the people who are interested in metaverse or people who are interested in a parallel universe to think as to what I'm trying to delve here, because we are going to see every aspect of life, all houses, as to how they would get impacted with this lens. And that is where you will start to relate that why do we say that it is the house of your longevity. It represents the kind of sudden transformations that you are going through. It represents the joint assets with your partner, with your spouse, or with your business partners itself, because it is second to the seventh. It is also a representation of your in-laws, and they are also going to be acting like portal for you, acting like those medium that is going to bring transformation in life. Eighth house is defined as the house which is about research, something hidden. It denotes roots, something deep inside. And that is why I'm emphasizing on the definition of a portal. Why? Because whatever is unseen, whatever is speculative, whatever is dangerous, unknown, is represented by 8th house. In Hindi, they say that 8th house is the representation of patal, or something which is deep underground, deep inside the soul of Mother Earth. And that is why there is a lot of connection that is drawn with respect to the importance of Saturn with respect to 8th house. In the natural kundli, we say that the natural ownership of the house goes with Mars, and that is why a lot of transformative energy, unknown chronic problems, diseases could also be anticipated from the 8th house itself. Now, we've talked about debts, diseases, etc. in the 6th house, but it is third from the 6th, and that is where you will have to draw parallels in relationship with this as well. 8th house is a representation of crime as well, or the criminal mindset, like how notorious or how negative energies can ferment out of this particular space itself. It's a portal, and that is why it shows heights and downfall. It shows your ego and outcome of that ego. And when I say heights, literally, people who have who are scared of heights, have issues of vertigo, will have some or the other relationship with this 8th house, and we will talk when we get into each house details as well. But yes, it's a representation of that. It's a representation of your ego, how big you think of yourself and how small you think of yourself. Your own dignity can be understood from the 8th house impact as well. It's a representation of occult sciences. And when I say occult, you could consider not just Vedic or Nadi in terms of astrology. You could think of Western astrology. You could think of tarot card reading. You could think of all Gothic sciences as well. I encompass everything from an occult perspective into this itself. All tantric thought processes also come from this house itself. 8th house is a portal, and that is why it denotes immense wealth. It has a connection to the second house. It denotes immense wealth. It denotes sudden gains and sudden loss of that wealth. Unexpected income is seen from this. 8th house will also be a representation of your real life. Not many people would have thought about this, but your life, when I say real life, your potential to work in a movie industry, on a YouTube channel, on TikTok, Instagram, any of those social media channels, success and failures in those areas can be seen from the 8th house itself. 8th house can denote your sexual interests. It denotes the exit portion of your body. Why? Because see, it is 7th to the second house. Second house is all about food intake, consumption. 8th house is the exit of it. It is second to the 7th, and that is why the physical relationships that you form, the asset of that or growth of that through your organs is seen from the 8th house. 8th house, of course, is 8th to your lagna, which means that it is a natural depiction, and that is how the definition of it has come through in terms of its longevity itself, that how long you are going to live. And when we are saying that what is the length of your life, we are also addressing the chronic issues that can impact the growth, longevity, or sustainability of your life itself. And that is why the hidden nature, the unknown nature, which I am calling it as a portal, comes into play. It is the 6th house from your 3rd. Means all the hard work, all the challenges that you are facing, all the efforts that you are putting in, challenges against those efforts is seen from the 8th. And that is why there is a suddenness. There is a suddenness to the problems that you are going to face, which is seen from this. It is 5th from your 4th. Means the connection of your mental peace, the connection of what your previous karmic debts or assets are, be it in terms of your mental peace or be it in terms of your wealth that you're creating because of your past life karma, will be seen through this. It will be able to predict the strength or dignity of the quality of life your mother would lead or would have led. It is 4th from your 5th house. Means it's the culmination, it is the outcome of all your past life efforts. It is 3rd from the 6th. And that is where the Vipreet Raj Yoga concepts also come into play. And if you've not got a chance, please go back and watch the 6th Lord video and you will understand what we talked about Vipreet Raj Yoga with 6th Lord moving into the 8th house. Here, it is 3rd from the 6th. Means the effort, the fight that you have to put against the challenges will be seen from the 8th house. It is 2nd to the 7th. It is the joint assets. It is your in-laws. It is your sexual interest, your orientation that can be seen from this house itself. 8th in itself is a portal. 8th in itself is going to be the medium. And it is a beautiful house. I know it carries a lot of negativity around it, a lot of fear that people bring when they think or discuss about the 8th house. But 8th house in itself can bring a lot of positives in life, and that can be seen through the strength of this house itself. It is 12th to the 9th. It shows the loss or the expense of your superiors, of your father, of your spirituality, of your religion, of the long distances, the impact of the journeys that you will take, the change in the residences that will come into your life. It is 11th to your 10th house. Means the connection of your karma and its outcome, gains of your karma will be seen. Sudden gains and sudden losses of your karma will come because it will take its own sweet time to grow and reap. And then you see when it is least expected in your life. It is 10th from the 11th. Beautiful connection. Means all the wishes that you can think of accomplishing can be seen, that how your efforts against those wishes have gone in a day-to-day basis and how they could be culminating. It is 9 places away from the 12th house. So 9 places away from the 12th house means a very spiritual connection to all the aspects of foreign relationships, your bed pleasures, your sleep, or anything of that sort. So all in all, 8th house is going to be a very critical house for us to understand that what sort of unknowns can we face in life, And in this video you will learn that how you are going to overcome those unknowns. So without further ado, let's get started, guys. Now when 8th lord goes and sits into the lagna, it is sitting 6 places away from itself, which means that all aspects of longevity, secrecy, unknown, occult are going to naturally come to this person. This person will have some secretive mindset or attitude about himself or herself. If you have this combination in your chart, you would find that the interest towards occult could be very, very natural to you. It might just inherently come to you. It would mean that you will have a lot of interest in things that are not commonly appreciated, and that interest could be of any kind. It could give deep interest in terms of research or psychology. You might want to understand the behavior of human beings, behavior of life in general. You might want to research into science, technology, grow yourself, immerse yourself to bring something which is unknown, unseen. You could have deep interest in everything related to the roots of anything. And that is why I'm continuously saying the portal. Why? Because people with this connection will have as if a storm brewing in their head. They might appear calm to the entire world, but they have so much happening deep inside them, which is very hard for them to share and express to the world. Of course, you need the right combinations, and I keep on saying not just one planet and one yoga is going to impact. Astrology works in combinations. You have to see yogas coming into play. So the conjunctions, or 8th lord would be lord of some other house as well, most probably, if it is not a sun or a moon, and it could have a different impact. But your emotions will be very, very deep. You will be very research oriented. You would have a mindset, to get into professions which are related to even being a detective, or something which is behind the scenes, hidden, life insurance, banking, back-end jobs. Back-end jobs in technology as well. If you are a technology developer, you would prefer being a back-end developer when compared to full stack or front-end. You would want to work into the depth of what is not easily understood. Machine learning, going into the machine level language understanding, low level language, as we say. And I'm sorry, I'm just bringing a lot of technical aspects, but that is how the flow of ideas is coming to my head right now. Engineers with this combination will have that sort of mindset. You might want to work into embedded systems, VLSI design. You understand? You will be very interested in terms of the real life. You would want to work behind the lens. Right now, when I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking behind a lens and I'm reaching you through a digital medium. That is a representation of the 8th house as well, and delivering occult content to you. By the way, I have 8th lord sitting in the lagna. So it is very interesting, but it brings a lot of challenges. It is a 6th movement. So the lord of longevity is coming into the 1st house. It can be beneficial, especially if a benefic planet is the lord of the same and coming into the lagna, in terms of bringing in longevity to your life. But it most probably could be filled with chronic problems. You have to fight your own battles on a day-to-day basis. You will find that in this case, these people are easily misunderstood. Why? Because they have this tendency of keeping things secret. They have very high difficulty in expressing themselves and being open to the world, which causes a problem from a 7th connection, because the 8th lord coming into lagna is going to be aspecting the 7th house as well. So a lot of confusion, trust issues could come with your partners, not just with your spouse, but with your business partners as well. When 8th lord is coming into the lagna, it is also a sign of, or a possibility of, you creating sudden wealth in a very short period of time. It could bring a criminal mindset, interest in all non-negative aspects of life which the society might not easily accept. You could have very deep interest, or very non typical interests in life. in terms of your sexual orientations, in terms of the sexual practices that you might have, in terms of the karma that you might practice. And that is why I'm saying an interest towards crime as well. Now, guys, don't ping me and say that, Dev, that is not applicable. Even I'm not a criminal, right? But there are multiple possibilities that come into play, and one of them or some of them will fit into your life. That is how it is going to transform you. If eighth lord is in your first, and I know many people might find this thing very surprising, but I believe that from a past life perspective, it also means that there is a mishappening in terms of the longevity of some other person in past life that happened through your hands, because of which now that lord is sitting in your lagna. And I would want you to think about it and figure out what I'm trying to say. So I'm trying to connect the dots of that criminal mindset or some crime that could have happened, maybe not in this life, but in past life, which is why it is resulting into eighth lord coming into your lagna itself. Now, this will also denote that there could be a sudden windfall gain that you might have. It could be related to life insurance, or it could be related to any other activity that you are not aware of at this point in time, but sometime in life you are going to find some sudden opportunity that is going to come your way, and you are going to grab it with both hands. So it may be a positive, or it may not be so much of a positive, but yes, that positivity, that possibility increases in this case. But I would want people with this combination to be very, very careful with respect to their health. Fitness has to be a very important part of your daily regime, because it's a sixth connection. It is the regularity that you have to bring in life. It is also a connection. When I said heights, people with this combination could have vertigo, could have fear of heights. So some of it is applicable to me. I'm scared of heights, right? And my family would always wonder, right, as a kid, that I would not be able to go, even living in fourth floor or fifth floor in an apartment building. It was scary for me to stand at the balcony, or forget about the mountains and stuff. So that sort of an issue could come. It could get related to your ego. It could bring a transformation in your life where your ego will be shattered and you will start rediscovering yourself. See, Scorpio or Mars is the natural connect of the 8th house. In the Kalpurus chart, 8th house is ruled by Scorpio. So naturally, transformation of any kind in your life is going to be very critical, and it is going to change everything about your life. So people with this combination have to understand that the best remedy for them is to keep transforming themselves. Transform yourself with respect to your physical self. Transform yourself with respect to your mental and emotional bent, because that is going to give you the right outcomes in life. That is going to help you scale in life. Now, when 8th Lord gets into the second house, it is going 7 places away from itself. Lot of times you will hear people say that it is a dangerous combination, it's a tricky situation, not a great place to be. But I feel that to every combination there are a lot of positives and negatives, and one of the biggest positives of 8th Lord getting into a second house or an 11th house is the windfall gains and big time Dhan Yoga. Guys, there is, like, I keep on harping on second house, fifth house, seventh house, 11th house in terms of the monetary gains. But the kind of gains 8th house can bring, it is a massive wealth creator. And I will urge you to go back and check the combinations of some of the richest people on the planet. Some of the most brilliant and successful actors. Amitabh Bachchan comes to my mind right now. He has multiple planets positioned in this place. You will figure out that they have this combination in place. 8th Lord is either going into the second or into the 11th. So I know that there are tons of challenges that come with this combination, because it is going 7th to itself. It is going to its opposition. It's going to a house where you see your food. It could bring disorders in terms of your eating habits. It could bring a lot of challenges in terms of you either consuming bad food or some sort of medical issue, trauma coming into your life because of the food habits that you've had in life. Food related medical emergencies can very well be seen with this combination. It is going 7 places away. So it also gives you the opportunity of running a venture which is in the space of food or which is in conjunction or partnership with your family members. That is also going to be interesting. It is on a positive side of things. It is forming big wealth yoga in my mind. Sudden wealth yoga, which could be led because of an insurance kind of a thing, you being in that sort of an industry, or you following the footsteps with your family in that space, which could lead to humongous joint assets. It could create a lot of wealth in your life, especially when you are running through the Antardasha, Mahadasha of an eighth lord. That is bound to happen. Now, of course, you have to see if it is a malefic, the kind of planet it is. If it has multiple aspects other than the seventh, say a Mars, Saturn, Jupiter will have multiple aspects to it. How does it transform in that case? What are the aspects falling on this planet? If it is in conjunction with some other planet or not, dynamics could change. But in itself, it gives you a lot of strength to succeed through this case. It could bring challenges with respect to your relationships in your family. Especially there could be disputes. You know, a previous generation, somebody passes away, and then there are disputes with respect to property and assets, with respect to joint assets. How would the distribution of wealth happen? There could be a lot of ugly situation that might pop up in this kind of a scenario. A lot of times property disputes, say with Mars or Saturn, will come into play when there could be multiple years of dispute litigation that might continue. So those kind of problems will stick around in the long term. You could see sudden problem come in your life where your asset or your wealth gets wiped off. But it will also give you the yoga to accumulate and accumulate multifold post that as well. That is also seen with this eighth house, because this eighth house brings that portal. And when I say portal, imagine time travel sort of a thing. Imagine a sudden shift that happens in a spacecraft or in a quantum ray of light when it is traversing around a black hole. Eighth house is like that black hole. So those kind of triggers that would happen, but they would happen in conjunction with your family members, all with respect to your bank accounts, with respect to the food you eat. It will bring a lot of foul words, foul language while you are communicating with people. It could disturb the quality of speech that you have. That is another challenge that will come with this. So you may want to be very, very, careful as to how you are articulating this. I had touched upon the seventh connection to eighth in my seventh Lord video, and the second connection to eighth also in my second Lord video. But I talked about some of the illicit relationships coming into play. This is again a karaka. But in this case, the secrets will be revealed. The secrets will be revealed uh, to your family. Your family will come to know about the secrets, or you will find some secrets about your family which will bring in disputes. So that is another negative connotation that comes into play. But I would want, and as we typically keep on saying in this channel, that you have to learn to rule your planets. If you have this combination, you have to figure out how you have to stop yourself from associating with those negative situations. Like I was talking about eighth lord going into the first house, the ascendant himself or herself has to be careful that they do not bring self harm. Same way in this scenario, you have to understand that how you do not bring self harm to your family, in terms of family disputes, in terms of loss of wealth, in terms of inappropriate partnership associations in your family. If you think that this is a malefic impact, I would recommend you not getting into business partner relationship with your family members, because it will raise disputes. If you run your venture and your business separately, you will have a much more amicable situation in your family life. Now, when the eighth lord goes into the third house, what's happening here? 8th is going 8 places away from itself. Not many people are pleased with this, but I have a positive thought process towards this combination because Bhavarth Bhavam is coming into play. Lord of longevity is going into the Lord of into the house of hard work, into the house of younger siblings. It is going into the house of your hobbies, interests, neighbors, short distances, travels. So what you will find is that first of all, that you will see an increase in your span of life. You would be a person who would be interested towards working out or taking measures, physical efforts towards keeping a check on your health. You could be practicing yoga at home. You could be not taking too much of stress. You could be a person who is focused towards following a certain food regime for yourself, the efforts that you are physically putting in towards this aspect, and it is going to work very well for you. You will realize that you are a person who has, there are so many people who are planned in terms of taking holidays. They have a structure that this is where the long weekend is going to come, and I'm going to have a single day off, combine that with 4 days with the weekend, and I'm going to be traveling out. You are the people who will make sudden holidays. Sudden short distance travels will come into play. Or maybe you are in a job that requires you to travel impromptu. It is going 8 places away from itself. You could be in a field associated with medicine, insurance, which requires you to travel a lot from your professional standpoint, and a lot of your hard work goes into that space. But this is a good thing. I think if this combination is happening, it is not a bad thing. However, with all positive comes certain negative associations as well. So the challenges that you will face is that you will realize that your siblings might have some unexpected problems, debts coming their way. They will have problems of this sort. Or you could have an ego tussle. There could be something that your sibling might do which might pull down your ego, which might bring you down from that height. And that height doesn't just mean monetary terms or in terms of this thing. It could also mean your ego getting bruised. Your sibling could be a person who likes to keep to themselves. They are introverted, or they keep their own secrets. A lot of siblings are very open to their brothers and sisters, but in this case your sibling would like to keep their own secrets. They're not very confident of whether you will understand their emotions or not. That is another possibility. So they might have this confusion. Other situation I've seen is a lot of times, you as a native, if you have this combination 8th going into 3rd, you might be living in suburbs, and at least in the initial part of your life, there will be a lot of change of residences in very, very, short intervals of time. Like you would have stayed somewhere for 6 months, then 9 months, 2 year max, and then you have to again backpack and move somewhere else. Maybe it is because of the transferable job of your father, because the Lord is now aspecting your 9th house as well. So those sudden shifts in terms of residences, in terms of, especially in your primary schooling period, I'm not talking about graduation and college time. In your primary schooling period, a lot of changes would have come into play, and that is because some association either with your parents, father's job, most importantly, or even because of some impact with your mother. It is going 12th to the 4th. It will give you a lot of initial struggles in life during your school days. But you will grow immensely post that. So it's a positive signature in my mind with 8th going 8th to itself. From any other significances, yes, I would want to call out, I touched upon the real life aspect. Now, I was talking about the social media success of people in my fame video. If you've not had a chance, go and check that out. But in my fame video, I touched upon some of the planets, and then I had touched some of the houses as well. So apart from the 3rd, 5th, 7th and 11th, 8th Lord, 8th through itself going into the 3rd, it's a very interesting combination for a person if you want to explore something in the real life. You want to get on YouTube, you want to do something on TikTok, Instagram, run your own spree of things. Extraordinary combination. Especially if Rahu or Venus are forming some sort of a connection in here, in good dignity, then you can explore running in the movie industry as well. Pop singing and stuff. That is going to be very, very good for you. Not a very common prediction. You will not find it in multiple places. But trust me, I try to put a thinking hat on. I read the books, but I think I'll give you another example. When the books were written, nobody said that Rahu is going to define AI or digital world. But today we've evolved. We as astrologers, we think a lot more and we try to find different solutions. I'm trying to put my thinking hat on. This channel is not just copy pasting some sort of thought process, some sort of protocols and presenting it here. No, the idea is to have that thinking hat on and then present to you. And I would love if you guys give a constructive feedback and tell me, Dave, I thought of this combination and maybe you should consider talking about it in the next video. And I would love that. But this is another interesting combination that you would want to think if you want to explore anything in the digital space. Even e-commerce is something that I would recommend if you want to pursue a business, especially if it is like digital selling or e-commerce selling or marketplace sort of a selling of insurance policies, of banking financial products, anything of that sort. Not just acting, but those areas of as well could be of interest to you guys. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Please click on that like and subscribe. Now we are going to talk about the 8th lord going into the 4th house. See, one of the moksha house lord is going into the another moksha, but it is going to a lower degree of moksha. 4th house is the representation of your mother. It is the representation of your mental peace. It is your true knowledge. It is your assets. The hard, non-liquid, immovable, movable assets that we're talking about. So in the first instance, this is not one of the greatest combinations because 2-3 tricky things will come into play. There is a very high probability that you might have a lot of stress in life, and stress could be you taking that stress yourself through your overthinking or because of unexpected situations coming in life that put you in that sort of a situation, which could impact not just your mental peace but also your assets. There is a ninth connection, so there is a good connection as well coming into play here. But very naturally what would happen is that there will be some sort of problems that will keep denting your assets. In this case, your mother could have certain secrets unknown to you, or even that could be in a relationship with your father, because it is the 8th house from the 9th. So your parents could have some sort of troubled secrets that they would have kept unknown to you. And it could have resulted in a lot of challenges, especially again, like I was saying, in the 3rd house, during the upbringing years itself. You will see continuous challenges coming in terms of assets if built through immoral activities. People with this combination should refrain from anything which is illegitimate. Any under the table transactions, any implicit or explicit ask towards money which is not deemed suitable towards the efforts that you are putting in. Trust me, in this combination it will all go away, and that is where and it will go through some sort of chronic problem, unknown problem, which could be again hidden for a long time and it emerges suddenly. A lot of times you've seen people having malpractices in place, doctors having malpractices in place, and then within their own family to themselves, I've seen doctors raking in bulk of money, and then they get medical issues that they themselves could not detect, right from cancerous situations to whatnot. 8th lord in 4th house, 9th connection. Malpractices is something you have to keep distance from. It is impacting your 10th house as well, because now this lord is aspecting your 10th house. So in a way it will give you tendency towards or an inclination towards crime or negative activities in your karma. You will find your own tendency to create problems at your workplace. So it's a tough situation. It's a tough situation, and I'm not saying that everything is screwed up. Why? Because you get an combination with a Jupiter sitting with it, Moon sitting with it. Moon is the natural karaka of the fourth house. If Moon comes and sits, it's going to fix a lot of problems here. Actually, it will get directional strength as well. If it gets an aspect of or a if let's say Saturn is the Lord, it comes and gets exalted here in the sign of Libra. So imagine a Cancer ascendant, and Saturn will be the Lord of 7th and 8th. And if it comes and sits in exaltation in the 4th house, you will be safeguarded. All these negative things that I'm talking about would not be there. Or if you have a positive effect of aspect of a Jupiter sitting in conjunction here or aspecting here in a positive way in strength, that is also a good situation for you to be in. But otherwise, say if Mars is here for an Aries sign, 8th lord, and coming and sitting in, it gets debilitated, it's going to cause a lot of problems. Unless and until Neej Bhanga is happening with Moon itself sitting here in its own sign. Right? So you need that sort of a combination. Or a debilitated Jupiter comes and sits bang opposite in the 10th house. But that Neej Bhang will not be the one of the greatest, because some or the other effects of that negative situation will still pop up. So I've given you a couple of examples for you to think and brainstorm how it's going to impact, but it has a lot of negative connotations associated when the 8th lord is coming and sitting in the 4th. However, in a positive situation, you could develop a very spiritual bent of mind. You could have a very spiritual bent of mind. Your father could be a person who keeps on poking you, reminding you that you have to take care of your mother. Like, he would have lots of care, unsaid interest towards your mom, and somewhere or the other he would nudge you towards your mom or towards your assets or towards your mental peace. His mentorship in terms of expanding your knowledge is going to be absolutely critical. Your father could be a very sound person in terms of spiritual knowledge as well, and they might imbibe that spiritual thinking in you. That's another positive aspect that will come into this. But in general, this is a tricky situation, especially for your mother. It could bring problems, and if you are having Antardasha or Pratyantardasha of the 8th house running, I would want you to be very careful in terms of the health of your mom during this period. Now 8th lord going into the 5th house. Now when this combination is coming into play, it is going 10 places away from itself, and it is going into a beautiful house. In my mind, this is a very it is one of the good combinations. 8th and 8th is one of the best, but this is one of the very good combinations that will again come into play. It is going 10 places away, and remember, 5th house, it's the house of dharma. It is a house that depicts your past life, uh, uh, accumulation of your past life activities. It is the accumulation of your past life punya, karma that you've done, and it is getting associated with this life's karma as well. It is a house that depicts your education, the degree that you are gaining. It is a house that shows the situation of your kids, your children, your romance. So in a positive day, what would happen is that you will find that you will continue to put in efforts, especially if it is a benefic. You will continue to put in efforts in this life to build on what you had already got from past life. Your past karmas and this life karmas will be in alignment. You will make good measures on that front. And very interesting, if it is Saturn, even in case of malefic, when we will talk about the negatives, Saturn is an anomaly in this case. If Saturn is the lord of 7th and 8th both, and it is sitting here, it is going to bring positives on 8th 5 connection itself. You will find that in a good day, again, this connection is going to bring in your ignite your romantic life in a very, like, there will be a sudden flame that will get, I mean, it's going to be like love at first sight kind of a situation. You just met a person, and in that instant, in that moment, yeah, this is the person that I want to be with. That sort of a situation will come into play there. And you would want to keep your affairs secret. Like, you will not go and publish it on Instagram and click on pictures and share. No, you would want to keep it under the wraps hidden to the world. Just enjoy it with yourselves. There will be that layer of secrecy, that transformation will be there. It'll act like a portal. Why? Because once this connection will happen, you will see that there is a instant change in you. You want to, like, you would discover a part of your personality that you had not known before, in terms of expressing yourself, in terms of becoming more creative. You could you would always be a creative person, but you will discover a certain aspect of that creativity that will let you shine and bring gains too, because it is aspecting the 11th. So it will bring gains too. But that discovery will be unexpected to you. Like, you would not plan that discovery. I hope I'm not able to put it in the right words, but what I'm trying to say is that it could be a representation of sudden fame in life, tremendous fame, and you had not planned for it, but you'll deserve it. It's a connection of the 10th movement in the house of your past punya, so you will deserve it. But there could be few tricky situations as well in this case. Now, tricky situation could be an abrupt ending of your education. I have again seen it in one of my family members. Abrupt ending of education degree because some or the other loss in family or life, within your clan. Some kind of a situation comes and your education gets impacted. Or in this case, wildly, education of your kid could get impacted. That's a deep problem. It brings risk in terms of the longevity sometimes to the children as well. And I'm so sorry I have to bring such points, and people start writing all sorts of things. But guys, these things do happen, and I pray that if you have this combination, it doesn't come to you. Please remember, not everything in every combination is going to impact you, but there are people out there who get impacted. So I don't know why it reminds me, in my childhood I had a neighbor, and that guy was at that point in time, I think, about 11, I was about 8, and the child just, like, he was there is a festival in India where you fly kites, and the guy was immersed into that activity, did not realize, and he toppled from the roof, from the terrace, and unfortunately passed away. Now, I'm not saying that that guy had it or I've seen that person's chart, no, but these kind of situations do happen in real life, and this kind of a combination could be a very strong indicator. 8th lord getting into the 5th house of the parent's chart. So please take it with a pinch of the salt when I give this, but yes, that's also a negative risk that comes into play. But remember, because we're talking about the 10 places away movement, it means that your karma or your activities, your actions will be related to these aspects of the 8th lord. So that secrecy in romance, that atypical sexual interest could be there. Interest in a different gender, homosexuality, bisexuality and stuff, and I'm so glad that people of different orientations also watch the video and they give feedback. So last video also we had a couple of points highlighted in that aspect, and if somebody is watching it, you might have an interest, a different sort of a leaning in this case. Again, a Saturn and a Mercury could give that. Now, if you have that Saturn movement, please don't say that you're wrong again. It might not be in your case, but yes, to some people it will give an interest in a different sexual orientation as well. Or at least, I'm not saying that they will get married in that form. Marriage might not transpire, but they might have relationships before marriage, or they might never get married and have this sort of a connection in life, which they might experience. So you might want to explore it from that perspective as well. This will most definitely result in some sort of windfall gain or windfall loss in stock market, in speculative trades. 100%. People who are watching this and have this combination, you might have played in future and options, in credit swaps, in high risk small cap stock market play, or in cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Dogecoin, whatnot. You will have some sort of tendency, inclination to play in those areas. And once in life, you will have an opportunity to make a humongous windfall gain. Losses, you have to see what are the other combinations. Okay, in a very very bad day, losses could also be there, but I will say positive gain possibility is very very high in this case. Eighth house can make you rich, like rich as F. So it's not a bad lord or a bad planet in terms of its movement. Now we will talk about eighth lord going into the sixth house. So what's happening in this case? First of all, it is going 11 places away to itself. All videos that you would watch, all books that you will read, any place you go, it is a great combination, people say, when it comes to Vipreet Raj Yoga. But I want to start with a couple of things that you have to understand. See, Vipreet Raj Yoga comes into play when you have encountered some major problem. And then the Raj Yoga gets activated, and this is a very prime case because here the Lord of sudden transformation, unknown, windfalls is coming into play. It's a high risk combination in terms of a person discovering some sort of a medical situation. Now you might come out of it. Yes, people discover cancer in early stages, they undergo chemotherapy, they come out of it. But that sudden discovery of such kind of medical issues is of high prominence in this case. When 8th Lord comes into this, it brings that bit with it. It is coming into a house of enemies. Unknown enemies are going to walk into your life. But remember, do not be scared, because those enemies are the ones which are going to bring in transformation to your life as well. They are going to make you such a hardened soul. It will form a Shatru Anta Yog. But they will jolt you in such a way that you will fall down. But then you will gather yourself, come out of it, and be much stronger self of yourself. A lot of people who are in the profession of medical science, debt collection, law, and within law itself, in specific areas of law, within financial law, criminal law, related to sexual assault and stuff, lot of mafias and criminals will build their profession with this combination. CAs will have a lot of combination of 8th Lord coming and sitting in the 6th. Because you will be working in the hiding. You will be working in a research mindset. Multiple failures in your research will lead into some extraordinary discovery. Again, I'm forgetting if it was Maria Curie was the name of the scientist. I think she had it. I'm forgetting the name of one of the Nobel Prize winner scientist who had this in their chart. I think it was a female, and I'm not able to recollect. I'd seen it few weeks back. But the point is that you will have tons of failure in your research, but that Vipreet Raj Yoga will bring extraordinary gains at a certain point in time. Nobel Prize winner had this in their chart. I've seen it few weeks back. The point I'm trying to make is that this 11th connection of wish fulfillment, of gains, of windfall gains, sudden humongous large scale gains will come. It's a decent combination, like a 5th house combination, like a 11th or a 2nd house combination as well. But it has its own challenges, its own nuances. Do not be scared if you have enemies or competition problems in life, because they are coming to teach you how you got to evolve. They are your portal. See, what is this portal? They are the medium who are going to take you from one entry and make you exit from the other side. Lot of sexual organ related diseases are also found with people in this combination. So if you have this thing, issues related to piles, people undergoing dialysis and stuff, some cross form of STD, hernia, those kind of problems. When you find, you will see these kind of combinations coming in your chart. That's another risk. Then what you would find is that there could be initial incompatibility in this combination with your in-laws. They will create problems, obstruction in life somehow, with no fault of yours. But eventually, in the right dashas, in the right period, you will overcome this thing as well. And you will find gains from your in-laws in this case too. So they are like, you might find a situation where they might pick your side at a certain point in time, even though they were your like worst adversaries. But you will find challenges to begin with. You will find challenges in terms of growing your wealth in the first half of your life. Your money, income, success will come in the second half. No disappoint. Invariably, because and in situations where if it comes and sits with the seventh lord here, your income, your money could come through an alimony kind of a situation. If it is in conjunction with that planet, something of that sort, yes. I would want you to watch my 7th and 6th lord video to see some of the marriage related issues in yogas, and then you see the combination of this 8th coming into this place, and you will be able to relate in your chart much better. If people who are experiencing this kind of problem or who are anticipating this happening, you will see this thing happening. So that tricky bit will always be there. Then another thing is that you will find that some or the other way, like in the first house situation I was talking a few minutes back, transformation of your ego, a downfall of your ego getting bruised, will bring out the best of you in your life, where you will evolve. You will somehow feel neglected, dejected. Everything will seem crashing down in your life in this combination. And once that ego is broken, then you will come out of it and you will bounce back and you will grow like anything else. So I hope this makes sense. If it does, guys, please smash on that like button and subscribe to the channel, and please spread the word. I don't ask that too often. I hope you like the efforts that I'm putting in, and I need some love from you. Now we will talk about the 8th lord going into the 7th house. It is going 12 places away from itself, and it is going into the house of marriage. Not one of my favorite combinations. See, guys, what is going to happen is that there will be there is very naturally a lot of intervention of your in-laws in your marriage. Lot of intervention of your in-laws in your marriage. It will bring a lot of confusion, dissatisfaction, lack of understanding in marriage as well. And not just marriage, actually. I should say in your partnership of any form in your life, this problem will be there. That there will be some sort of secrecy from your end itself. You would try to hide things, and I'm not saying that you are just going and having affairs out in the world, but that secretive nature, that behavior will rub off against your partners, against your spouse, and it will create confusion, and it is aspecting your lagna as well. So it is going to make you act in a egotistical way to some extent. So it is not one of the best combination from that sense. And my first and foremost, my remedy in this case is, if you have this combination, please do not go ahead and run business in partnership. You should just go ahead and run your own business by yourself. I'm not saying that about marriage. I'm not one of those proponents who say that, marriage is not written in your chart and you should not get married and blah, blah, blah. Because I believe these are some of the most critical experiences in life. Our soul has come to traverse and learn through every bit of it and evolve. Of course, some charts might not have it. But from a business partnership perspective, in a more materialistic sense, I will urge you guys to please focus to do things by yourself. Be self-employed or be the solopreneur in this case. From a longevity perspective, you could have some health related issues that you have to be very, very careful of. I would want you to be, again, like in the first house situation, 8th lord going into the first house, when 8th lord goes into the 7th as well, I want you to be extremely careful in terms of picking up healthy habits, not just for yourself, but with your spouse as well. In fact, one of the good remedies would be for both of you spending time together, be it cooking, be it exercising, or doing something related to your health and fitness or food. You should eat together, you should cook together. This combination is needs that sort of a remedy. Eighth lord going in seventh will also result into, like, it is going into the Maraka house, right? So brings a lot of probability of your spouse gaining some of inheritance or gains because of you. I'd say that's a good thing, not a bad thing. Let your family, at the end of the day, we live for our family, right? Not a bad thing. Be proud of it if this is happening. Be happy about it. But yes, on a tricky day, it could bring in separation from your spouse, and thereby that inheritance could mean alimony as well. So one of the riskier combinations from a marriage standpoint might come into play. There will be, see, if you are able to transform yourself, or if you are able to check in or on your ego and just let it go, that is one of the excellent remedy to make everything better in life in this combination. You will have to figure out to bring in some level of humility, some level of submission, uh, some level of letting go, so that your partnership, your relationship could work. And if that happens, the good part will be that the joint assets could positively grow. Because at the end of the day, the connection is happening in a Kendra house. Or else it is detrimental for your combined assets as well. And I will, in that case, recommend you to keep separate assets, separate bank accounts, and monitor your, banking transactions accordingly. If eighth lord is sitting in the eighth house itself, I think it is one of the strongest combinations that can come into play. See, it is in its own house. It is sort of a Raj Yoga. Bad house lord is sitting in a bad house, as they say, and bad house is not the right translation, guys. Dusthana sthan is what they say in Hindi, in Sanskrit, whatever. But it is like the lord is becoming extremely powerful. It is aspecting the second house. It is aspecting the assets. It is aspecting the wealth. Very, very strong combination for people to pursue real life professions. Means getting into acting, social media, digital world, whatever you call it. And doesn't mean you have to be a performer in the digital world. You might be writing blogs and you'll do extremely well. If Jupiter is here, I don't mind Jupiter sitting here. It'll make you very knowledgeable. You will write high quality content. You will research into deep matters and could be one of the best scientists. Very good combination. Acting, of course, very good combination. Anything related to digital, very, very good combination. Stupendous growth of wealth can be seen in this combination. Good for the longevity of your life. Healthy life. You will be able to fight any chronic issues, any heredity issues that are coming in your life. Indication that you are going to gain wealth through inheritance. It's a very strong situation or scenario for, again, windfall gains coming in your life. And this is another yoga of, I would not just say windfall gains, but big success. It can lead to big success. But folks, every time I talk about big money and big stuff, it is not just one planet that will make it happen. So if you are living an average John Doe, Jane Doe life, then and you have this combination, and you are going to crib that, Dev, it's not happening in my case because other yogas are not coming into play. But if this planet gets strong conjunctions, good aspects, couple of yogas in play, nothing like it. Couple of niche bhangas in play, nothing like it. It will be extraordinarily good. So a Jupiter sitting, let's say, for a Taurus ascendant, Jupiter sitting here, good placement. You should be focused towards immersing yourself into all knowledgeable things. Get into the banking sector, get into the insurance sector, get in even in medicine. Very, very good for you. Amitabh Bachchan has Jupiter sitting, I think, in this case itself. Good for acting. I think Venus is also sitting there. I don't remember his chart right now, but multiple placement. There are 3 or 4 planets sitting here. I was watching Neeraj Chopra, and he has like Mars exalted in the 11th. So when multiple planets come and sit here, imagine your 8th lord is sitting here and it is combined with 2, 3 more planets. It can give you connection with very, very powerful people in the society and hidden connections. There are a couple of scenarios when I'm not happy. When moon is sitting here, even if it is exalted in its own sign, it makes you stressed forever in life. You are an overthinker. No matter, I like all this big money talk will like it will get a little diminished if moon is sitting in the 8th house. If sun is sitting in the 8th house. See, 8th house is darkness. It is hidden, secret. I told you it is the place from where your food exits from your body. It's a dark place, it's a dark portal. And there you are going and bringing in a torch. Like, how would sun feel there? Like, it's not a good placement. Sun is your soul, your purpose, your father. Like, it's the natural king of planets, and you are bringing sun and putting it in the 8th house. Even if sun is in its own sign, in Leo in here, for a Capricorn ascendant, it'll be Capricorn ascendant, right? Yeah. For a Capricorn ascendant, even if the sun is setting here, not one of the best one. In fact, it could be a tricky one because now it will give you some very strong relationships with political people, hidden relationships with political people, or somebody who's much older in age than you, somebody from the government, somebody working in a multinational company, and you will have an unknown secret relationship with this kind of a guy in life if you have your sun sitting in here. It the negative aspect, because we've been only talking about the 8th lord, 8th house, all good things in here, but the negative aspect is that it could bring in sudden shame, and unfortunately it will be known to the world. If sun is sitting here, very high chances it could bring shame to your father. If moon, it could bring that in case to your mother. Like, your mother might be very disheartened, not shame, disheartened with some or the other act of you. And God forbid you get some kind of an aspect from a Saturn, or a Saturn sitting in the 2nd house, let's say, if that aspects to this, or if Rahu aspects, then it is a very challenging situation. So you will have to be you will have to be like, Mars is still not that bad. Even Ketu, I wouldn't say it is not that bad, but because in a way Ketu is like a co-owner of this 8th house. So this 8th house, and I forgot this at the initial part of the video, it will show some sort of detachment as well. Surgery, cut, blood, that is also seen from the 8th house. If you are a pregnant lady and you are expecting your delivery, you can predict whether you will have a C-section or not with the combinations of the 8th lord as well as your 6th. These two, if you check and if you watch those videos, you will figure that out. So I'm not too worried about the Ketu affliction here, but Saturn Rahu affliction isn't the greatest, and that will cause a lot of negative fame. It could lead to loss of wealth as well. It could result into sudden change of profession. It could result into sudden loss of your father as well. That is another possibility. So, but if it is not having any afflictions, then 8th lord in 8th house, it's a very powerful situation to be in. You have to be just like, I've given you those 3-4 situations where you have to be to be cognizant of. Apart from that, it's a very powerful combination. Now when 8th lord goes into the 9th house, it is going second place to itself. It is going into a dharma trikon, into the dharma house itself, moksha lord. And it is going into a house which depicts your superiors, your fatherly figure, your religion, your spirituality, your long distance travel. So here what I see is that change, transformation, growth, positivity will come into your life when you have a change in residence, when you go and live away from your father, When you go and live away from your hometown where you were born, in the culture that you were born, you do a shift in entirely different city or a country, that will bring growth in your life. When eighth goes into it'll, because it is a second, it is the uh, it will bring longevity as well, it will bring wealth as well to you. Long distance travel will be fruitful for you. Connections with people who are far off from you is going to bring a lot of success to you. If you have a boss who is working in a different country or in a different time zone, that is going to bring in career growth for you. Sitting right next to your boss, right outside his or her cabin, is not going to be good for you. I know this is crazy, but trust me, it's going to happen. You stay away from them, and that is going to be good. And this sounds hilarious, but there's a word. You could be a panauti for your boss, by the way. Like the moment you will join a particular team, somehow the other you could find success if you are staying away, but your boss, uh, they might see a halt in the growth, in their own growth, in their own career. Like if you really hate somebody, start reporting into them. This is that sort of a combination. But eighth lord going into the ninth house will, it'll keep you spiritual, but it'll bring interest in a in very atypical interest in religions. Like you will be like there, the transformation that I see is that there could be a possibility that you might as well change your religion, or you could you might be born to in one faith, but you adopt practices of some other faith as well. Your interest in a in you might want to try and get married to a person who is of different religion. Your love interest could be in different religion. That is also a very strong possibility in this case. It is third from your seventh, second from the eighth house, especially for Cancer ascendants. If Saturn is going and doing this, high chances there will be a lot of dissatisfaction in terms of relationship with your father. Like not dissatisfaction, I would say, but non-alignment, non-agreement, conflict of opinion, disagreement, that will come into play. And that is why one of the remedy to improve relationship with your father would be to stay away from them. Joint assets might work well with father after the second after the first phase of your life. In the second phase, the relationship with your father will improve. You will find that uh, a change in residence done post marriage. Of course, you would want to see your Navamsha as well for that. But so this prediction is with a caveat. But change in residence post marriage is going to bring growth in life. It might trigger promotions as well for you, or maybe your promotions could lead into change of residence and change of place, and it will typically happen post your marriage. Yeah. uh, International association, any kind of import export will be good, but this combination will be a bad combination towards the health of your mother. You have to be just like the eighth lord going into the fourth. I would want to just call this out as well. In fact, it could be tricky for your father's health as well. They might, again, you might have to figure out that specific situations in your chart, that how it's panning out for them. But from a health perspective, it's not one of the greatest. It becomes a maraka for them. Okay, especially for your father, it becomes a maraka. It is going into the second house. So I hate when I have to do these things, but some people with this combination might find that their father passes away in early childhood. Okay, so that, unfortunately, that combination comes into play. Now we will talk about eighth lord going into the 10th house. It is going three places away from itself. All this suddenness, all this ego, transformation, secrecy, uh, heights falling from it, windfall gains, success and failure, all these attributes are coming into your workplace, into your karma. and it is going with the third. Like all your energy, effort, power is getting pushed into this. It's a double-edged sword, but unlike what many people would say that it is one of the good combinations, I don't find this to be a very strong one, because I see that there are a lot of, you will get humbled at work. Let's put it this way. You will get humbled with your karma. You will realize your own worth. Like, you will be a prince in your mind, a princess in your mind, but when you actually get at work, then you will realize that how good or bad you are. And if you are able to pivot, if you are able to transform with that challenge, you will shine. If not, this Lord is aspecting your fourth house. So all the impact in terms of your hard work, in terms of your mental peace, in terms of your asset growth will get impacted. I think some of the planets like a Sun, uh, Saturn, Mars, Mercury, they will do very well here. They will do very, very well here. Like for a Scorpio ascendant, Mercury is Gemini sign and it is going to be coming into the sign of Leo. It is going to do decently well. Mercury gets directional strength as well in the 10th house. And it is the Lord of the 11th as well coming into the 10th. So that yoga will also come into play. Very, very good combination. You are going to succeed, but you will get humbled at work once for sure. Like somebody is going to put you at your place and tell you, this is what you are. But you will bounce back. If these kind of planets are in place, Sun is in place, Saturn is in place. Oh my gosh. Saturn is in place, good aspect of Jupiter, say, Saturn, if it is, Cancer ascendant, then your Saturn is the lord of both 7th and 8th. And when it is coming in here, it will get debilitated, right? So it needs to get that Nij Bhanga, but it has directional strength. If it gets Nij Bhanga, or if it is sitting with an exalted Jupiter, this 8th lord at workplace, it's going to make you shine like anything. But you see, this is such a good example here, and I'm so glad that this popped to my mind, that this debilitated Saturn is going to give the effects of Nij Bhanga, and I'm telling you that the prediction is when 8th lord comes into the 10th, it gets humbled once in life. So Nij Bhanga's impact and humbling and then bouncing back, and same way Nij Bhanga Rajyog's impact, all of that will come into play. Extraordinary success will come at work, but you need malefics actually, like a Saturn, like a Surya, or directional Mars sitting in here. They are going to do excellently well. Of course, Mars, if it is like a Aries ascendant, Mars is going to get exalted, right? Ascendant Lord is sitting here, or the Scorpio Lord is coming and sitting here. Extraordinary. So it's a very good combination in those cases. But even with a debilitated Saturn, if it is getting Nij Bhanga or getting a good aspect from a Sun, if Sun is also sitting in debilitation in the fourth house, it will cancel it out, and you are going to do very, very well in this case. But I would want to put that caution that you as a native will have a tendency of creating problems yourself, for yourself. And that is why you will get schooled at work. You will have to let go of your ego. You will have to bring in humility in you. That service mindset will have to come. You will have to be a service leader, a leader by example. So that those kind of traits will be extremely important for you to exhibit. There, when the right period comes in the Antardashas, Pratyantardashas, you could get back-to-back promotions. I've seen people so many times in the corporate world getting double promotions at one go. This combination can give you that. But you have to have the right Antardasha and the right Pratyantardasha working out for you. This, this combination will also create a situation where you could get into a business partnership with your in-laws. Your in-laws could play a major role uh, in terms of your collaboration with them. And it might suit, this partnership might suit actually for you. This is also a deadly combination, and I'm just saving it up. It's a deadly combination for mafias, for criminals, could bring in murderous behavior as well. And an afflicted planet here, say a debilitated planet, and not getting any support from anywhere, is a very, very dangerous combination. the 8th lord going into the 11th house. So it is going uh, 4 places away from itself. And as I said, like in that second combination, 8th lord going into the 4th house is a combination which is again going to be a karka of wealth, good gains coming in your life, big money. 8th, 5th, 8th, and 11th, these 4 houses. And these are going to be very, very interesting houses in terms of making good money. Even 8th in Lagna also can give a decent amount of money. But when 8th lord goes into, especially for a Scorpio ascendant, Mercury is going and getting exalted in here. What a combination. What a deadly combination. So it brings lot of you know uh, possibilities of you making big money, windfall gains, unexpected income, uh, which is going to fulfill all that you had dreamt of or imagined of. Again, not everybody is going to become a Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk or a Ambani with this combination. You need to see your entire chart working in this case. But say you have a weak Lagna, you have a weak 7th house, 10th house. This combination in itself will make you sit and earn. It's a great combination for you. You might not even be putting in that much efforts and gaining the sort of income that other people might be envy of you. Say you are gaining out of oil, anything from Saturn related items, because I said Mars and Saturn, they are both the karkas for the 8th house. Anything from underground, minerals, oil, any roots, agricultural, this thing, land related items, you will just sit and make gains out of things. Regular income will keep coming in. You might have gasoline, petrol pumps working in for you. You might have big agricultural land where people are working in for you. You might be trading and flipping in houses and assets. That sort of income is going to pop up big time for you. You will be working in joint combinations, in joint assets with people, and that will just keep on bringing in. As somebody is doing your wealth management, your portfolio management for stocks, or any kind of assets that you've put in place, that you've invested. This one is like you are relaxed in life and you are still going to make decent amount of money, guys. Very, very good combination from that sense. It is going to enhance your peace of mind. It's a fourth connection. Like you will be happy, your wealth creation. And when I'm saying income in this case is going to add to your wealth. Your mother could lead into giving you a lot of inheritance. She might have inherited a lot of wealth and she might further pass it on. But to every positive, there are certain tricky bits as well, guys. The tricky bit here is it might make you restless. It might, this is a combination that will, you will feel loss of purpose in life. Most of the times I say 11th house is one of the best placement because it is fulfillment of desires, goals, ambitions and stuff. Here it could be there is no direction. There is no purpose at times because you feel that you are getting everything on a platter. So that might bring restlessness in you. That might bring lack of purpose in you, and that is a troubled situation. Guys, if somebody is listening and thinking that, oh, I don't give a damn about it, it's a very troubled situation because when you cross a certain threshold in life, a certain stage in life, it could be tricky. This is, by the way, also a dangerous combination in you um, picking up sexual activities outside of the regular norms. You might just be very exploratory and like you might be very outgoing and adventurous, and you would want to explore a lot if this combination comes into play. 8th lord getting into the 11th house. Another possibility is again you having multiple or different kinds of orientations in your interests. That is also a possibility that will come with this combination. Now, I'm not saying everybody is having a different orientation when you're watching this video, but yes, some people who have this combination or who have this interest, like in the fifth house case, this will be a possibility here as well. Now, when the eighth lord goes into the 12th house, this is another combination of a Vipreet Raj Yoga. 12th house is the representation of your bed pleasures. It is the representation of a foreign land. It is the representation of jails, isolation, hospital. And it is a connection, a Dusthana place where 8th to 6th or 8th to 12th is a representation of a Vipreet Raj Yoga that comes into play. So what you would find is, again, like I was just talking about the 11th house people, humongous interest in bed pleasures and what not. Like, you will have different kinds of activities, different equipments to keep yourself engaged and satisfied. That tendency is very high probability that you might find in yourself. It might result into multiple partners as well. That is another possibility. Just like 11th house, this might also give you multiple partners in life when 8th lord will go into the 12th. But outside of, and I will not say whatever is negative or positive, but outside of this, I think this is an excellent combination of some sudden spiritual growth in your life. Sudden spiritual growth, like you will discover something in life, like some ego hurt, some challenge that you will face in life. Either it could be a medical challenge, or it could be a change in your ego, or it could be some turbulence in life, some sort of hospitalization, which will just change your perspective and it will make you a very highly spiritual person in life. Highly spiritual person. Because remember, it is 5 places away from itself. So it is that dharmic connection is meant to happen for you. It is meant to happen. I think for a majority of the people, no matter how adventurous, exploratory they are, at some point in time, with people with this combination, they are going to reach spiritual heights. Enlightenment sort of a situation will come into play. It's by the way, one tricky thing that I forgot to mention a few minutes earlier was that in this case, it brings a jail yoga as well. Sudden situation, some sort of a criminal activity will land you in jail. Lot of criminals will also have this combination. You will find that some or the other thing leads you to some negative activity, and then it'll take you to this kind of a situation. Or I would want people with this combination to be again very careful towards their health, education, reading, self awareness, self-help books, motivational books are very, very important, and they are like remedies for people with this combination. You are going to see exorbitant success in life if you do this. Because see, it is a Vipreet Raj Yoga and it is going to come into play after negatives. Now you have to decide what those negatives are. Are you too lost? Because this is all about secrecy. 8th Lord is all about secrecy. And it is going into the house of dreams. It is enlightenment, spirituality, yes, but it is also dreams. It is sleep. In a way, you will find that you will be lost for a phase in life, and then there is a period of self-discovery and then emerging out of it. Again, the portal bit. You will come out of that portal. You will live through certain things, get into this 8th house situation and come out of that portal, and you will be a transformed person. But if you are going to rule your chart, it's better that you prepare for that remedy. So read self-help books, read motivational books, watch 2 YouTube channels like myself, smash on that like button and subscribe, and that is going to help your karma as well, because it's the 5th connection that is coming into play when the 8th Lord is moving into the 12th. So not a bad connection. It is one of the good yogas that is going to come into play. But yes, expenses, sudden income and lots of expenses on the rise. People with this combination, if you get anything in inheritance, where that money is going to get lost, you have no idea. You will just lose it. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this reading and you've liked the effort that I've put in. If you have, please smash that like button and click on subscribe and be connected and keep following my channel. Thank you guys. Om Namah Shivaya.